So okay. So okay, now so I said about command line. Sorry. So I said about yeah. So how to work with a database, and I said what is a database and how to configure the database, and even I said what is a model is and how to build a model and model field data types, and after that I said what is a database schema and how to create a database schema. You're trying to use what? Make migrations. And after that, before making migrations, install your application. And after that, I said next is what? Migrate is a process of converting database schema into underlying SQL statement or creating or referring to the existing table. Yes. So how you are trying to migrate it? You are saying Python manage.py, and what is the name of the command you are using? Migrate. Okay. So these are the things what we have seen in the last class. Okay. So then next is, so once this is done, I think you have done up to this, right? Okay, then you can also generate. So what you can do is you can also generate equivalent SQL statement, but there's no use. But just to find out what is the equivalent SQL statement in generate. So if you want to generate equivalent SQL statement for your model or for your application, you can generate equivalent SQL statement by using SQL migrate. So there is one command called SQL. See, you have a command called SQL migrate. You can also use one command called SQL migrate. What is the name of the command is SQL migrate. Okay. So why this command is to know the equivalent SQL command generated by ORM tool, right? SQL migrate. SQL migrate is a command used to find a so equal SQL statement generated by equivalent SQL statement generated by okay ORM tool. So this you can find out by using what here SQL migrate. So this is only for debugging. You don't do anything with this SQL statement because you are not writing any SQL statements. Everything you are doing it with the help of what? ORM. So you don't do anything with this just to find out what is the equivalent SQL statement it generate. So what you are doing is you are saying Python manage.py. So Python manage dot, you are writing Python manage.py. Now it followed by migration file name. So here you have to give migration what? File name. You need to give migration file name and then followed by what here? SQL. SQL, what is that? Migrate. So you need to give the migration file name. So you have to give the migration file name and then followed by SQL migrate. So this will generate, it will show you what is the equivalent SQL command generated by ORM tool. So that is done by using SQL migrate. So this is what is SQL migrate is. So you can see here SQL migrate in Django here. So SQL migrate command is DJANGO is used to display raw SQL statement that will be executed for a specific migration. It does not apply the migration to the database. Instead of it provides a preview of the SQL code. It is only for debugging to use SQL migrate, you need to specify the application label and the migration name. So migration name is nothing but what is migration name here? Migration file name. Migration name or migration file name. And then you are saying SQL migrate. Sorry, it is reverse. Huh? So SQL migrate. SQL migrate. And then you are saying migration file name. And then followed by what name? Application name. For which application you want to generate migration file? I mean, for which application you want to generate SQL statement? You just give the application name and then followed by what name? Migration file name. And every migration file name not compulsory. SQL migrate is not, I'm saying no, SQL migrate is not compulsory. SQL migrate is not compulsory, or so SQL migrate is not compulsory. It is not compulsory. It is used only for debugging purpose. It is used only for debugging purpose. But SQL migrate is not compulsory. It is not compulsory. SQL migrate is not compulsory. Okay. So it is only for debugging. You define the application name. You define the application name and migration name. So application name, then followed by migration file name. See, every migration file name is having a prefix as a number, right? So just to see here. See, this is only for knowledge, SQL migrate. But two things are compulsory. What is that? Migration and migrate. Now you can see within the application, you have a migration file. So this is called as which file here? Migration file. 0001 underscore initial dot py. But you should not give the complete file name. You should give only the prefix. You have to give only the prefix. What is the prefix of this 0001? You need to give only the prefix. It is only numerical prefix. You don't require to give complete name. You don't require to give complete name, right? So here I'm writing Python. So just here, I'm trying to migrate it. So Python manage dot py. What is your application name is application 1. Sorry, what is the command is SQL migrate. And what is your application name? Application 1. What is your migration file name? 0001. So for this migration file 0001, it will create here. This is the equivalent SQL statement. What is a statement is created? Create table. Okay, what is the table name is created? Application 1 underscore student model. So this is a table name created or not? Yes. So there is a ID, auto increment, not null, and roll number, name, course. See, all these are generated. So this is which statement? Raw SQL statement. But are you write any SQL statement? No. You are not written any SQL statement. How you are communicating it? By using ORM, that is object oriented programming, right? So this is how you find a equivalent SQL statement for your migration file. This is how you find equivalent SQL statement for your migration file, right? So this is called SQL migrate. So there are 3 commands here. One is, what is the first one is? Make migrations. Second is what? Migrate. This is for applying. And next one is what? SQL migrate. So make migrations is for creating database. It is for creating what? Database schema. It is used for creating database schema. Schema is nothing but structure. Then migrate is for what? Applying database what here? schema on applying database schema on what here? Database. Now that is migrate. So what is SQL migrate is generating SQL statement. SQL statement using migration file. Generating SQL statement using migration file, right? So that is what you mean by SQL migrate. So then okay, then next is this commands are clear, right? All of you, right? So the next one is now okay, you created table. You created table. Now you perform certain operations on table. Okay, you perform certain operations on table. Generally, what operations you perform on database? Crude operations or card operations like inserting, updating, deleting, and what? Retrieving. Any project you develop, any project you develop, you perform only four operations. What is that? Inserting data, updating data, deleting data, and one more is retrieving the data. But you do all these operations using which commands? SQL commands. But are you using any SQL commands here? No. You're not using any SQL commands. You are doing everything using what? Object oriented. Everything you are doing it with the help of what? Object oriented. Then how can you perform crude operations on database using model? How to perform? Now next I'm talking about performing. We develop application, but once you learn all this, okay. So we develop, suppose, assume that you are developing a project where you want to create a user registration form. This is what? User registration form, where you enter the user details. After giving all the user details, what do you do it? You just click on the button called which one? Register. So when you click on register, this data is sent to what here? Backend. What is your backend is? View. This data is sent to a backend. What is this backend is? View. And what view do? It will receive this data and it will store this data into what? Database. It will store this data into what? Database. So storing data into database is nothing but inserting. Storing data into database is what? Inserting. It means your view is communicating with what? Database. How your view is communicating with the database? By using what? ORM. In the same way, you develop your project or your application is having a login. Login means where sign in or login, where you enter username, and what is that? Password. And after giving username and password, you just click on the button called which one? Sign in. So once you click on the button sign in, this request is sent to what here? Backend. And where it is verifying this username and password, it will verify this username password by communicating with what? Database. It will verify by communicating with the database by sending the query. What is that query is? Select. Means it is trying to retrieve the data belongs to this user name and this particular password. It is trying to verify is it this username and password is exists by sending one command. What is that command? Select command. But are you sending select and insert commands here? No. You are not communicating with SQL. You are communicating using what? Object oriented programming. So always the communication between the Python program and database is what? Model. Okay. Anything you want to perform, you try to perform it by using what? Model. So model represents what here? Table. Models represent what here? Database. Model represent what here? Table. And anything you want to perform on table, you take the help of which one? Model. So performing crude operations, uh, using I'm telling you first all the syntaxes. I'll try to explain it. by using what? Django shell. The same thing what you write in Django shell, you include in what? View. Okay. So, but I'm trying to tell you the syntax of all the operations in what here? Django shell. I'm explaining the syntaxes of all this inserting, updating, retrieving, all these operations I'm doing in what? Django shell. But later, the same thing we include in what? View. Okay, right? So, but syntax you are learning in which mode? Interactive mode. Syntax you are learning in which mode? Interactive mode. Same thing. Like in Python, you learn how to create a list in which mode? Interactive mode. How to append values you learn in which mode? Interactive mode. If you want to write a program, then you write in scripting mode. So here you are just learning how to insert, how to update, how to delete, how to retrieve. For that, you don't require to create one project because you are just learning how to insert, how to update, how to delete, and how to retrieve. For that, you don't require to develop any project. You can learn it directly in which mode? Interactive mode. So Django provide an interactive mode called which one? Django shell. And is it this? Okay, is it this? How you are opening Django shell? You just open the Django shell by just typing Python. What you are saying here? Python manage dot py, and then you are writing what here? Shell. Now when you say Python manage dot py shell, now this opens which shell here? Django shell. Now using this shell, you can communicate with your project or not? Yes. This is used because where you are typing this command, see here, this command you are typing inside what? This command you are typing inside what? Project. This command you are typing within the project. Means using this interactive mode, you can able to communicate with what your project. You can able to communicate with your project, right? Yes. So now first is CRUD operations, you should know it, right? So every application required to perform every application required to perform, okay, perform some operations, perform required to perform operations on which one? Database. So commonly these operations commonly so this commonly these operations commonly these operations are called okay, you call it as CRUD, or you call the same thing as what? CRUD operations. So one is nothing but C. C is nothing but what here? Create. So create is nothing but inserting data. And R is nothing but read. Okay, reading or retrieving. So this is nothing but what here? Selecting the data. And U is nothing but what here? Update. So U is nothing but update. That is replacing the data. And D is nothing but what here? Delete. So this is for deleting data. So any application you develop, how many operations you do on the database? 4 operations. That is inserting, updating, and what? Retrieving. You do how many operations? 4 operations, inserting, updating, and deleting. So these operations, okay, any operation, any operation can be done. Any operation can be done on database using what here? Model. Any operation can be done on database using what? Model. Because your model is a communication between your application and what is that? Table, right? So model represents what here? Table. Anything you want to do it, you do it with the help of which one? Model, right? So first we'll see how to insert data. First we'll see how to insert data. See, I'm telling you this in which mode? Or I'm telling you this in which mode? Interactive mode. We are not developing any project. Okay. We already created one project, right? Okay. interactive shell. I'm explaining all the syntaxes in what? Interactive shell. And these syntaxes you include in what? View. These syntaxes you include in what? View. But you are learning the syntaxes in what? Interactive mode. So interactive mode means you are working in what? DJANGO shell. Any operation can be done on database using model, right? So first we'll see how to insert data. That is inserting data within database table. How can you insert data within database table? So now inserting data within database table, can be done in how many ways here? Two ways. There are two ways for inserting data into what? Database table. One is creating, yes sir. One is creating object of which one? Model. You create an object of which one? Model. And second one is using create method of model manager. Using create method of what? Model manager. Okay. So how many ways can you create object of how many ways can you insert the data into a database table? Two ways. What is the first one is creating object of what? Model. And second one is using create method of what? Model manager. Using create method of model manager, right? So first we'll see creating. Okay, first is a creating object of which one? Model. Creating object of model. See, every model automatically, every model will have a constructor. See, class is nothing but class is a data type or not? Yes. So every class to create object, what it contain? Constructor, right? So generally constructor is used for what? Initialization. Constructor is used for initialization. If you see this models.py, what is your model name? Student model is inherited which class? Model class. But are you write any constructor here? No. But the constructor is inherited from which class? Model class. Constructor is inherited from which class? Model class. Okay. So whenever you create an object by invoking what? Constructor. You create an object by invoking what? Constructor. So every model class is having a constructor with what? Fields. Every model class is having a constructor with what? Fields as an arguments. Fields as an arguments. So creating object of model. So every model class having construct. Every model class having which one? Constructor. Now this constructor is inherited from which one? Model class. This constructor is inherited from which class? Model class. Model class is a super class or not? Yes. And this constructor is having keyword arguments. This constructor is having what? Keyword arguments. And here keyword arguments are nothing but you have to send the values as a key and values. So this constructor is having which arguments? Keyword arguments. Okay. So here key is nothing but in this case, key is nothing but what name? Field name. Key is nothing but what? Field name. And value is value of that field. Okay, key is nothing but field name and value is value of that field, right? So what is the syntax is? The syntax is like this. How you are creating object of any class? Generally, how you create object of any class? You create an object of any class by using what name? Class name. Here, what is a class name is? Model name. Model name is nothing but class name or not? Yes. Just write model name. But whenever you create object, that object is assigned to one variable or not? Yes. You just assign that instance to one variable. So this you can call it as object name or not? Yes. This is a object name. Variable is nothing but object name or not? Yes. Variable name equal to what is this? Model. You are creating object of which one? Model. So model name, and then you define what name? Field name equal to what? Value. Then again you are saying field name equal to what again? Value. So how you are sending the values as a key and how you are sending the values as a key and value. What is the key is? Field name. What is the value? Value of that field. So this is a constructor or not? Yes. You are creating object of this class and using this constructor, and this constructor required key and values. The key is nothing but field name and value is nothing but value of that field. So once you create an object, you created object, that's it. You created object and stored this object. Inside this object you store what? Data. And you want to apply this data to the table, then compulsory. So this variable name dot, second thing what you have to do is variable name dot, you have to invoke one method called which one? Save. Until unless you don't say save, this record will not be inserted into what? Database. Until unless you don't say save, this instance will not be applied to what? Database. So compulsory you have to invoke the method called which one? Save. Because you created object in memory. You created this model in what? Memory. But how can you apply this to a backend? By just invoking a method called save. So two commands you have to execute it. One is create an object of a model and then store data and then what? Save. Then you have to invoke the save method. Now see here. I want to insert the data. I want to insert the data. So what do you have to do now? You have to import model or not? Yes. So here you have to import the model. Where is your model is? Where is your model is? Huh? Where is your model is? From application one dot. What is your module name? Models import. What is your model name? Student. What is the name of the model? Student model. Okay. You are learning in which mode? Interactive mode. Okay. But this code you write in view. Same code you write in view. You're just learning the syntaxes. How to insert, because for everything you cannot create one project, right? So we learn first all this and we include this in what? View. And we develop one application, right? So from application one dot models, what is the name of the model is? Student model. Is it imported or not? Yes. First you have to import the model, because on this model you are performing operations. Okay. Then I'm saying student one. Student one equal to what here? Student model. Student model. Tell me field names, right? Roll number is one. Roll number is one. And name equal to, this is a name equal to student name. And then course. Course equal to what here? Python. Then next is what here? Fees. So fees equal to some 5,000. So what I've done here, I created object of which class? Model class. So creating object is nothing but creating a record. Creating object is nothing but creating one record. You created roll number. O is missing. N is not there. Huh? Okay. ROLLO. Okay. But here I said RO. No problem. Okay, no problem. So we'll give the same name. So first you have to do this. Field name I have given wrong. Remember this. You need to give the same field names which you define in model class. So student one, okay, student one, same, right? So, but what is my field name? ROLLO. What is the field name I've given? ROLLO. But I missed N, right? Okay. Already we migrated. Now, is it object is created or not? Yes. Object is created. But after creating object, you just go to the backend and check whether it is inserted or not. Just go to the backend. Backend means open which one? MySQL command line. Open MySQL command line. Open MySQL command line. So what is my database? DB test. DB test. Okay. Now show tables. Now here, this is your table, right? Select a star from application one underscore what? Student model. So application one underscore student model. Now, is it any data is there? No. Is it data is there or not there? Not there. Why? Because we created object, but we have not applied this. Are we applied or not applied? Not applied. How you apply it? Student one dot. What is this? Say, when it says student one dot save, then only it is inserted within the table. So just go to the backend again, check whether it is inserted or not. Now, is it record is inserted or not? Yes. Okay, na? So again, I'm telling you, just create it. Student two equal to what here? Student model. So I create object of which class? Student model class by sending the data roll number. Roll number is 2, and I just give the name. Okay, name of the student, and course of the student. Okay, then fees of the student. ROLLO, because this is my field name, right? Whatever field name is there, you just give that field name. So what is your field name says here? Roll number, name, course, and fees. Okay, now this is creating object. Created object or not? Yes. When you create object, where your object is created in memory. And if you want to apply it, what do you do it? Student 2 dot, what is that? Save. Once you say save, now you can see in the backend, one more record is inserted. How many rows are inserted here? 2 rows. Very easy. Are you giving any insert command? No. You are just communicating with the help of what? Model. How to insert data into a database table by creating which object? Model object, and storing data and invoking which method? Save method. Invoking which method? Save method, right? So this is the first approach. This is the first approach. So until unless you don't say save, the data will not be saved, right? So this is the first approach. Okay, right? See, don't think that here you get a line numbers, right? But you may get with symbol greater than. Okay. So that depends on the version what you are using, right? Okay. The next is, yes, same method is available in model class. Yes. I said no, save is a method. You are invoking method of which class? Model class. Okay, because this method is inherited from which class? Model class. So for this, what is a super class is? Model is a super class. Okay, model is provided one method. What is the name of the method? Save. So are you write any method called save in your model class here? This is your model class. Is it any method called save in your model class? No. But it is inherited from which class? Model. So student model super class is what? Model. Okay, right? Okay, then after inserting, you verify in the backend whether this data is inserted or not. Okay. Okay. Now this is verifying in the backend. Okay. Then one more method is there for inserting data. And what is the name of the method is create. Create a method. So second, yeah, this is clear. Huh? You understood this one, right? So save is a method of model class. Save is a method of model class. It is an instance method. Means instance method means you should call with what name? Object name. You should call with what name? Object. Class method is called with what name? Class name. Class method perform operation on class. Instance method perform operation on object. Self, right? Self means object. Okay, so you need to call that method with what name? Object name. You cannot call it without creating object. You cannot call it without creating object, right? So then creating, inserting data, second one I'm telling you, using create method of model manager, using second approach, using create method of model manager. So this is a second approach. So every model class provide a model manager. Every class provides what? Model manager. Model manager. So it means that model manager is used for managing what model. What is the meaning of this model manager? What it is doing? It is managing the model. Managing model is nothing but using that model manager. I can perform the operations like what? Inserting, updating, deleting, retrieving. All these things I can do it by using what? Model manager. So there is one attribute. Every model will have one class level variable. Every model is having one class level variable called which one? Objects. There is one variable called which one? Objects. Objects is called which one? Model manager. Right? So every model provides what? Model manager. So what is model manager is a object. Model manager itself is what? One object, and that object provides some set of methods. That object provides some set of methods to manage which one? Model. To manage the model. So every model provides a model manager. The name of the model manager is the name of the model manager is what is the name of the model manager? Objects. What is the name of this is objects. And this model manager is accessed using what name? Model class name. Using what name? Model class name. What you do is you just write model class name dot, what is it here? Objects. Model class name dot, what is this here? Objects. Now what is this objects is here? Model manager. What is this objects here? Model manager. What is it? Why then? What is the meaning of objects here? Records. I mean, data can be called as what? Objects. Because of that, the name is given as what here? Objects. Now this is objects. You are accessing this with what name? See, this objects you are accessing with what name? Class name. Which one can you access with the class name? Generally, class contain how many types of variables? Two types, instance variables, and one more is class variables. And instance variables bind with what name? Object name. And class variables bind with what name? Class name. Now this objects is bind with what name? Class name. Can you say this is which variable? Class variable. This is which variable? Class variable. So inside the model class, okay, inside the model class, you have one class variable called which one? Objects. And this objects is called which one? Model manager. And these objects provide various number of methods, and within that there is a method called which one? Create. There's a method called what? Create. So create is a method, and this method, what it will do? It will create a record and save it. It will create a record and then what? Save. It will insert directly. Create will what? Insert into database table. Now, in the first approach, you are creating first a model object and then you are saying what? Save. But here you just give only one method. What is that? Create. So that create will create an object. It will create an object of which class? Model class and save it. It will create an object of model class and what? Save it. Is it required to execute two steps or only one step? One step. In the first approach, I should create first a model object and then I have to save it. But here I'm just invoking the method called which one? Create. So this method will create object of which class? Model class and save it. Create the object of model class and what? Save it. Right? So create. And it followed by what name? Field name. And field name equal to what? Value. So it is having which arguments? Array create method is having which arguments? Keyword arguments. When I'm saying it is a keyword arguments, you need to give key and values. So what is the key here? Field name. Okay, right? So in which field you want to insert value, just give the field name and corresponding what here? Value. Okay, then again you are writing a field name. Field name equal to what? Value. So create a method of model manager. Which one is model manager? In this, which one is model manager? Objects. Which one is a model manager? Objects. Objects is called what? Model manager. Getting or not? Objects is called what? Model manager. And this model manager provide number of methods to manage which one? Model. Model is nothing but table. Yes, you are representing table in Django using which class? Model class. So objects is called which one? Model manager. It provides set of methods for managing what? Model. Means nothing but table. Create method of model manager. Perform how many operations? Two operations. Performs two operations. First one is what is the first one is? Create. Create object of which class? Model class. And then invoke which method? Save method. Yes. So create object of model class, and after creating object of model class, then invoke which method? Save method. So one method doing how many operations? Two operations. One method is doing two operations, right? Let me tell you with an example here, right? So just to see it. Now this is a second approach. Okay, na? So before storing, if you want any confirmation, then go for first one. Suppose when you register it, okay, you may display the confirmation. You want to save yes or no. You want to save yes or no. If you say yes, then you save. If you say no, then you don't save it. But if it is a create, it will save it. Okay, if confirmation is yes, then only you'll say object dot save. If confirmation is no, then you don't invoke which method? Same method. So that managing, you can do it. If you are creating it, if you are creating model object and what? Save. But if you directly say create, now you cannot manage it. Because automatically it will what? Save. Automatically it will save. So that depends on your application. That depends on your application requirement, right? Okay, then what I'm writing here, student model. What is the name of the model? Student model dot. What is the name of the model manager here? Objects. Dot. What is the next one is? Create. Okay, student model dot objects dot. What is the name of the method? Create. What is the field name is? ROLLO in my system, right? So in your system, whatever field name is there, you give that. Okay, na? So this is a name of the student, and this is what here? course of the student. Okay, course of the student. And this is what here? Fees. So directly I'm using create. Now you can see how many objects are created here? Three objects. How many objects are there? Three. Means three records are there or not? Yes. You execute from here. You can see is it this is executed or not? Yes. Only one statement, multiple statements or one statement? One statement. Okay, again I'm writing it. Okay, just see it. If you miss it, you see it. Okay. Now just a roll number. What is the roll number is 4. Okay. Name of the student. This is the name of the student and this is a course. Now you can see how many objects are there? 4 objects. You can see you just go to the back end and see it. So how many records we inserted? 4 records. Okay, right? Is it this is clear? Understood or not? Okay. So how many ways can you insert the data? How many ways can you insert the data within the table? 2 ways. What is the first one is creating object of model. Second one is using create a method of model manager. Which one is called as a model manager? Objects. What is the name of the model manager? Objects. Objects is which variable? Class level variable of what? Model. Objects is which variable? Class level variables of model. Class level variable. Because of that, this you are accessing with what name? Class name. Which one is accessed with the class name? Class level variable. Say here, just this is Python. I'm just writing a Python code here, right? Very easy. Django is very easy. Okay, right? So don't make it very complex. And when you already install VS Code, VS Code, Django projects, application you created, all are created, everything is working. If it is working, don't disturb. Okay, don't disturb means don't try to add some add-ins. Huh? If you're trying to do a lot of things, versions or something, then again you'll face some problem. If it is working, if the configuration working properly, don't do any disturb. Okay, na? Some people what they'll do is they'll install some other version, Python version, or they install Anaconda. Then your VS Code will disturb. In that case, your project will work or doesn't work? Doesn't work. Okay, right? Huh? Yes. Yes. Yes, yeah. We'll see. Project. Okay, without project, everything what you are learning in Django is one project. What you are creating, project. Everything is a project. And you combine all this at the end into one project. So that is a mega project. Mega project means all the things you are combining in one project, right? Yes. So this is a class. What is your class is? Suppose what is your class is? A. In this, now you see here, what is the name of this variable is? Objects. This is which variable? Class level variable. So how you are accessing it? A dot which one? Objects. A dot objects. What is objects now? Model manager or not? Yes. Now this is model manager. This is what here? Model. See here. Model manager. This model manager is having all the methods. What method it is having? Create. What is the method it is having? Create. What is the method it is having? Delete. What is the method it is having? Update. It is having a method called which one? Update. So all these are the methods of which one? Model manager. See here, model manager. So this is called which one? Composition. You are created object of which class? Model manager class in model or not? Yes, this is actually model. This is model. And this is in model, you have what? Model manager. This model is inherited by your class or not? Yes, student model. Student model is inherited which class? Model class. In the model class, which one is inherited? All the variables and methods of model class. Is it inherited in student model or not? Yes. Is it this model manager also inherited or not? Yes. Correct or not? So this is internal but not required. Okay, this is internal abstraction, hidden. All these are hidden. You are just invoking what here? Methods. Same like the way how you learn, the way how you learn NumPy without knowing how it is created, right? Okay, you'll say how to create an array. You'll say NumPy dot. What is that? Array. Is it array is a data type of function? Array is a function or not? Yes. Array is a function. And this function returns which object? Array is a function and this function returns which object? ND array object. This function returns which object? ND array object. ND array. What is the name of the class here? ND array. ND array is what name? Class name. But you are creating it by using various functions or not? Yes, you are using array. You are using, how many ways can you create? How many functions are there? 7 or 8 functions are there, right? Array function, zeros function, ones function, range function. Okay, you have lot of functions for creating which one? ND array object. But everything is abstract or not? Yes. Here also same thing. Only required things are given. Not all the things are given. Now this is how internally work your model manager. How internally your model manager work, right? So this is how you insert. Then next one is how to retrieve the data. How to retrieve the data. How to retrieve the data. Now this is nothing but reading data from which one? Database table. Reading data from database table. So generally, if you want to read data from database table, you send which command? Select command, right? Select command or not? Yes. You send which command? Select command. How you write it? Now tell me an SQL statement of select here. Generally, what are the steps you write in Python? What is the first step? Establish connection to what? Database. Establish connection to what? Database. You'll say something like MySQL dot connector dot connect. This will establish connection to what? Database. Second step is you create which object? Cursor object. Second step is you create a cursor object and then cursor dot. What is the method you are using? Execute. Cursor dot execute. Execute method where you execute a command. What is the command you are executing? Select star from. Select star from. What is the name of the table? Some EMP. So what will happen? This execute method send this SQL statement to what? Database. And database execute this SQL statement and return that result into which object? Execute this SQL statement and return the result into which object? Cursor object. It return the result into which object? Cursor object. In the same way, in order to read the data from database table, model manager provide various methods. Model manager provide various methods. Okay. So reading data from database table is done in what? Different ways. Okay, different ways. So model manager model manager model manager provides various methods to retrieve or to read data from which one? Table. To read data from table. Various methods to read data from table. Now you want to read. Generally, you may read one record. You may read more than one record. You may read all records. You may read one record, you may read more than one record, you may read all records. You may read one record. How can I read one record? Model manager provide a method called which one? Model manager provide a method called which one? Get. So what is the first method is get method. Now using this get method, you can able to read how many records? One record. You can read how many records? One record. It means get method returns what? Model object. Get method returns what? Model object. Get followed by generally get method. You now what is the syntax of get method is? Yes, whenever you are using a get method, always you read the data by using which field? Primary key field. Primary key. Primary key is what? Generally, primary key contain how many records? Only one record. Suppose roll number is a primary key. Then how many students with that roll number will be there? Only one student. Okay, if the roll number is a primary key, how many students with that roll number will be there? Only one primary key. If the username is a primary key, then how many users with that username will be exist? Only one user. Now, whenever you are using a get method or whenever you use a get method, you give the input as which field? Primary key field. Okay, so get method. Yes, are you getting or not? Yes, you are using get method. You can read how many records? How many records? One record. How many records you can read? One. See all this documentation, official website of Django is what? www.djangoprojects.org. Right? Official website of Python is www.python.org. Official website of Django is djangoprojects.org. So Django projects. So you can find the docs. Now this is djangoprojects.com, right? You can find the documentation and here you can search. Whatever you want, you can search here. Whichever thing you want, you can search here. Okay, it's having beautiful documentation and even you can download one documentation PDF. See here. This is documentation PDF. It is around some 2000 pages. 2000 or more than 2000 pages documentation is there. Okay, if you download this PDF, you find the complete documentation related with what? Django. 2000 pages. If you have a patience, you can learn 2000 pages. Okay, right? More than 2000, I think. Okay, yes. So here you find all the things. Anything you wanted, you can just find here. This is called as a documentation. If you want to search anything, you can just put here. Okay, then you can say here model manager. Model manager, I'm just searching model manager. So model manager, models dots here. All these comes under which one? Model manager. So generally, which one is called as a model manager? Objects is called as a model manager. But how many pages model manager is there? 14 pages. Okay, right? Now you can just use, okay, objects dot, what is the method you want? Get method. Objects dot get. Just use a method called which one? Get method. So you may have like number of get methods. So maybe actually we required, yes, you can see query set dot get. Okay, you have a you have to give the prompt properly. If you don't give the prompt properly, then you don't get a proper result. See here. What is the name of this block dot objects dot? What is that? Get. See here. This is get, right? So get. This is there in models and what is that? Database. Models and database. This is there in models and what? Database. Now this is models. You can learn one by one. Okay. In this, you are trying to use a method. What is the name of the method is? Get is a method. Get method is used for reading or writing. Reading. See here all this, but we have not defined any relationships. I'll tell you relationship that is one to one relation, one to many relation, and many to many relation, and many to one relation. So that is to avoid redundancy as well as what? Redundancy as well as inconsistency. And then how to build your own model managers also you learn in advanced model concept. But right now, what you are learning, see, right now, what you are learning, you are learning how to insert data, how to retrieve data, and how to update data. How to insert data, how to update data, and how to retrieve data. Okay. Yes. So get method of model manager. First, I'm talking about which method? Get method. Get method of model manager. Get method of model manager. What is the name of the model manager? What is the name of the model manager? Objects. What is the name of the model manager? Objects. What is the use of model manager? Managing the model by inserting, updating, and what? Deleting. Right? So get method of model manager is used to read. To read what? One record. One record or what is that? Row. So get method returns. So get method returns which object? Model. It returns model object. It returns which object? Model object or model which one? Instance. It returns model object or model instance. So what is the syntax of get is? What is the syntax of get is? Model name dot model manager name dot get it followed by field name. Field name equal to what here? Value. Get a field name equal to value. Like you have a get method in what? Dictionary. You have a get method in dictionary or not? Yes. So get method of dictionary get the value. If the keys exist, it returns a value. Here also get method returns what? Record. Get method returns what? Record or row. It returns the record or what? Row. When if this value, if this field name equal to this value, if this field name equal to what? Value. So what is the equivalent query generate? It is nothing but select a star from this table name where field name equal to what? Value. So in application development, when you go for a get, if you want to read only one value, it means always you apply which key? Primary key. This field name must be which key? Primary key. Let me tell you. So, but it returns which object? Model instance object. It returns which object? Model instance object. See here. Now I am writing S1. S1 equal to what is the name of the model is? Student model dot which one? Objects dot get ID equal to 1. ID equal to what? 1. So what is the primary key in my database? Tell me, what is the primary key in my database here? Table is what? ID. ID is the primary key. Even you can also give what? Roll number. Roll number equal to what? 1. But I said here ID equal to 1. When I say ID equal to 1, it is written which object? Student object. But what will happen when I print? What will happen when I print S1? When I print S1, it just written which model object? Student model object. Then how can I get the data? I can get the data by saying S1 dot. What is the name of this? ROLLO. S1 dot. What is that name? S1 dot course. S1 dot P. So this is the data for student or not? Yes. Going on. So this is one Naresh Python and what is that? 5000. Okay. Then I'm writing S2. S2 equal to student model dot student model dot objects dot get ID equal to 6. I said what here? ID equal to what? 6. But is it any ID 6 is there or not there? Not there. If it is not there, what it is written? Error. It raises error. What is that error? Does not exist. Student model matching query does not exist. Is it any record with this ID? No. Then immediately it raises what? Error. Now how you handle this error? By using try and except block. If it is exist, it return the object. If it is not exist, now this get method raises what? Error. This get method raises error. Okay. So this is what is this method is? Get. This method is what here? Get. But you can get it by using name also. You can get it by using name also, right? You can get it by using name. Suppose you should see that there should not be any other person with the same name. If any other person with the same name, then get method returns one instance or more than one instance, one instance. So compulsory you have to see that, okay, whatever you are retrieving that contain only one. I am writing here S2 equal to student model dot objects dot get. I am writing a name. Name equal to which one? Naresh. Name equal to Naresh. Now, is it written the student object or not? Yes. Now, I'm saying here print S2 dot. S2 dot what is that? Roll number. S2 dot name. S2 dot which one? Course. S2 dot. S2 dot which one? P. Now, is it get the data or not? Yes. So, try to see. Now, for example, see here. What will I do is, I'll try to insert one more record here with another person with the same name. I'll try to insert one more record with another person with the same name. How can you insert? How can you insert? Tell me here. How can you insert? Student model dot objects dot what is that? Create roll number. Roll number is what? 5. Roll number is 5. So same thing will take. This roll number is what? 5. Name is what? Rajesh only. I change only roll number. But everything is the same or different? Same. Everything is the same. Now created one more object or not? Yes. Now you can see how many students are with the Rajesh here? 2 students. Now let me execute the query by using which one? Get method. Okay. So I'm writing a student model dot what is this? Objects dot get name equal to what is this here? Rajesh. But how many students are with the Rajesh here? 2 students. When you press enter, immediately it is given what? Error. What is that error is? Multiple objects are written. Multiple objects are written. Get written more than one student model. It is written how many objects? 2 objects. But get is used to read one object or more than one? One record. It is used only to read only one record. But how many people are there with the name? 2 are there. Getting or not? So in application development, when you use a get method, if you want to read only one row, and always you read the row by using which key? Primary key. To avoid that errors. To avoid that errors, which field name you'll use? Primary key field name, because primary key field doesn't have what? Duplicate values. Primary key field doesn't have what? Duplicate values. Okay, right? Okay, then I want to retrieve more than one record. Understood? बोलो यार, get method understood? ये पूरा मालूम रहे ना? Okay, because every web application required a database. Without database, you don't develop anything, right? So compulsory you required what? Database. And how you communicate with the database? Using ORM. And you should know compulsory all these operations like how to insert it, how to update it, and how to delete it. Okay. Then how can I get more than one? How can I read more than one record? How can I read more than one record? You can read more than one record by using various methods. Okay, there is a method. Now, second method is, okay, there is object manager provide one method called which one? All. Object model manager provide one method called which one? All method. So what is the first method is? Get method. What is the second method is? All method. All method is for retrieving all the records or one record? All the records. All the records. All method. All method of object manager. Right? So now model manager. So model manager provides which method? All method which return or which read all the records. All the records are rows from all the records are rows from which one? Database. Database what? Table. All records are rows from database table, right? But where it will return all these records in one object? It will return all these rows into one object. So after retrieving all the rows, it should store all these objects into one object. And that object must be a collection or not? Yes. And that object you call it as query set. That object is called which one? Query set. Query set. What query set contain? A result of executed query. Query set. Set means with duplicates or without duplicates? Without duplicates. Without duplicates means every record is a unique or not? Yes. Because if you don't create a primary key, by default it will create a primary key with one column, right? What is that column is? ID. What is that column is? ID. Okay. So all method retrieve all the data from where? Database table and return into one object. Which object it is? Query set object. Get method returns model instance. One instance or multiple instances? One instance. But all method create one instance or multiple instances? Multiple instances. Then where you should store this multiple instances? Into one object. And what is that object is? Query set. Okay. So all method of model manager, all method of model manager returns all method of model manager returns which object? Query set object. Returns which object? Query set object. So sometimes they may ask you, what is a query set? What is a query set? What is a query set? Contain the result of which one? Executed query. What query you send? Select query. So the result of select query will be there in which object? Query set. So query set contain one model instance or more than one? More than one. So query set contain the data retrieved from what? Database table. And how it represent data in query set as objects. Query set is a collection of what? Objects. Which objects? Query set is a collection of which objects? Model instance objects. Which objects? Model instance object. Every record is one. Every record is represented as one object or not? Yes. Which object? Model instance. So what is a query set is? Collection of which objects? Model instance objects. Model instance object. Because each object is one row. Each object is one row. Are you getting or not? Okay. Yes. So all is a method which returns a query set object. What is the syntax of this? Model name dot model class name dot. This is assigned to one variable. This variable is which type now? This variable is which type? This variable is which type now? Query set. This variable is which type? Query set. What is the syntax is? Model class name. What is the syntax is? Model class name dot. What is the model manager is? Objects dot. What is the method is? All. Model class name dot objects dot all. Get all the records and store in which object? Query set object. And each record is one model instance. Okay, right? Now we'll discuss otherwise. more on this, like how to retrieve data from database table. And even we'll see how to insert as well as delete the data. How to insert as well as delete the data. Okay, na? But not today. Please practice this, and tomorrow we'll see more on crude operations. Right? Yes. Thank you. We'll see tomorrow. Right. सही है सही है ये table create now हुआ make migrations migrate okay until you don't do migrate but नहीं करे शायद करे तो आ जाता you have to do it because database understand only SQL. If you want to debug at the backend, if you want to do anything at the backend in the database, uh, if you want to do anything in the database, you should know what now. You inserted data. After inserting, how you check whether it is inserted or not? How you create database? How you debug in the backend? You should know what SQL. Okay. बोलो यार. Hmm. Hmm. बोलो यार.